What's up with it? It's your boy OT, and you are now tuned into
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Like, subscribe, and follow wherever you get your podcast from.
That's right, Otis. Whatever you say, Otis.
Now let's get into it.
Y'all ain't stupid. They coming to see me.
And we're back yet again. Y'all thought I was finished? When I bought that, I ain't got no Aston Martin. But one day, now I don't want no Aston Martin. I want a 1978 Monte Carlo. For real, that's what I want. That's my dream car. But you know what, man? Growing up the youngest sibling has its pros and cons, and yes. But see, me growing up the youngest siblings is a little bit different from everybody growing up the youngest siblings. Because I have like old ass siblings. Y'all forgive me, but y'all old, but it's cool. And then I got like mid siblings. Basically, I got siblings in fucking every century. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to figure out how I'm about to like explain this to y'all. Before I explain this to y'all. Because y'all gonna be like, what the fuck? Not for real. But just to freak y'all out, my mama and my sister are the same age. But my sister is 2 months older than my mama. That makes sense? I know. Everybody like, what? Like, all right. Well, my dad was born in 1929. This is actual factual. I have a birth certificate. I can prove it. And he had a son in 1950, and then he had a daughter in 53. So yeah, my oldest brother is 73. And then I got another brother. He's 61, about to be 62. But see, this was my father's oldest two kids, y'all. This is not like all the kids. And my mother, you know, she had two, Curtis and Brian. And then they met and they had 5 more. So yes, it's 10 of us. And yes, they were freaks. And yes, it's a lot of us. But you know what? I know other families that have way more kids than us. So, you know. But we in the double digits. We up there. But no, like, my mother and father started with the typical love story. My mother had a baby daddy, because my mother from East Texas. Yep, Longview area. And my daddy was from South Waco, Texas. City Slicker. And y'all wondering, oh, how does this old man meet this young woman? Well, his sister actually introduced him. Because my mother used to ride the bus. And his sister's like, oh, my brother would like you. And she was like, oh, okay. But she never talked to him until some years later. Because there you have an age gap of 23 years old. Yes. Yep. That's what he did. And so my mother was 17 and 16. I'm jumping around just to give y'all a little brief history. When my mother had my first two brothers. No, she did not have it by my father. My father had 3 kids back in the day. And my mother had 2 kids at 16, 17, in probably the 60s or something like that. And then she met my father in 70 something. And they had 2 twin boys in 80 something. And then they had another girl in 85. Then they had another. So yeah. And then they had my brother Daniel. He gonna be on the podcast one day. Y'all think I'm funny. Just wait till y'all hear him. And then, believe it or not, y'all, I was not even supposed to be here. Yep, got teased about it my whole life, especially when I made them mad and talking about my basically Daniel and Christy. Those are my two siblings that I'm closest to. Shout out to the rest of them. I'm close to them too, but you know how it is. It's a whole age gap. But they used to, when I made them mad, you're not supposed to be here. And the whole you're not supposed to be here came from because back in the day when, women didn't want to have no more kids, they got their tubes tied and burnt. Believe it if you want. It's the story I'm told, and I'm sticking fucking to it because I ain't heard nothing else. And it used to hurt my little feelings when they said you ain't supposed to be here. And so out popped me after my mama out popped not trying to have no more kids. And thus I arrived because I guess somebody came to see me because I came to see y'all. But so that's the story of, all my siblings. Now are all of us close? Very much so. And I will tell you, I'm the closest with my oldest sister, Joanne. She has so much wisdom and so much knowledge to give. I love my older brother, Gerard. He a player from the Himalayas, and that's how he gonna tell it. And I love my older brother, Joe Jr. He's still the fastest man in the 440. And I tell him, I don't know what that is because we used to run the 400. But he's like, that's what y'all youngsters don't know. And my other brothers from my mama is Curtis and Brian. Then you got the 5 that my mother and my father had, which was Michael Harrell, Christy, Daniel, and yours truly, who everybody came to see. But growing up the youngest sibling had its pros, most definitely, had its cons. I got to see the best of both worlds. I got to see decades ahead of me, so to speak. And then I also had, like I talked about, my big sister. She always was one who really talked to me, who really spoke to me and really made me think about, okay, life is so much bigger than just Waco, Texas, or life is so much bigger than just Texas, or life is just so much bigger than America. Because she always encouraged me, get your passport. And you need to travel here. You need to do this. She always was one who was pushing me to do more. So shout out to Joanne, Scott Beans, hey girl, and my other sister, Christy. She was always my mama. She was always there for me when I needed her the most. And believe it or not, I'm going to tell y'all something about my sister, Christy. She could fix shit that niggas couldn't fix. She was the one fixing shit at the house, not us. Everything that needed to be fixed, she was fixing it. A tie needs to be tied. I don't know how she learned how to tie a tie. But she learned how to tie a tie. And she tied everybody's tie. And she's also wanted to be a veterinarian. Her dog leg got broke one time. Shout out to that dog. And she put a little stick on it. And I ain't gonna lie to you, the dog leg got a little better. He was still hobbling, but you know what? He was walking on it. So you know what? Shout out to all my siblings. And it's just like a blessing to be the younger sibling. Now, I say pros and cons because the cons to me are simply sometimes when I hear about my older siblings, as they call it, escapades and soirees and what they used to do, it kind of made me feel like, damn, I wish I was born back in that day. But it probably was best I wasn't. Because, you know what I'm saying, like my sister say, everybody was trying everything. I'm like, you know what? Crack ain't for me. And I wouldn't have tried every fucking thing. And I ain't saying my sister and them tried crack. I'm just saying. Back in the day, everything was wide open. Everything was new. But, everybody was making money. And it was easy to come by. So everything was easier. Everything was more simpler, more smooth, more cool. So sometimes, you know what? I feel like I was born in the wrong era. But that's a whole nother topic. So... And then my big brother, he always used to talk to me about running a 440 like I was telling y'all. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck is that? And he's like, shit, you run a 440. Y'all used to run on dirt. We run on the track. So, what is it? But you know what? When I started to think about it, I'm like, he kept telling me he was running a 440 and you was running like almost a 45, 44. Real talk. Y'all can Google my brother. He went hard. Joe Jr. Benz. But, you know, I'm like, y'all have to be fast as fuck if y'all running the 400 and then y'all running 40 fucking more meters and y'all still clocking in at a 44, 45. All right. But one thing about my daddy before he passed when I was 3 years old back in 93, he made sure that we knew our siblings. He made sure he took us to Dallas. He took us here. He made sure that we knew everybody. And everybody will tell you, my daddy was that person who he gonna look out for you. You look out for me, I look out for you, I look out for you better, but he gonna look out and he gonna show up always for you. So shout out to the man who couldn't be here to raise me all the way, but guess what? He raised me still to this day because his words still hold true. Know your family, love your family, and hey, you never know when you need a shoulder to lean on. So I'm glad I got so many siblings to talk to and I can lean on when the time is needed to lean on. Because, you know, in a world today where you don't have nobody to really talk to, I can honestly say, y'all, like, I have 10 siblings and I think I can call any one of them up right now and I can talk to them. So if you feel like you can't talk to anybody, hit that hotline at 1-800-330-8004. Because I ain't Mike Jones, but don't hit me up on the low. But it's been good. It's been real. I will see y'all on the next episode of...
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Thank y'all for tuning in to...
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
I appreciate the likes, the feedback, and subscribes. Continue to support me and show love.
That's right, Otis. Whatever you say, Otis.
Hey, it's y'all world. I'm just living in it, baby.
Y'all ain't stupid. They coming to see me.